you guys know what another division to watch is going to be this year, right? I mean, the NFC South, we're going to move on. The NFC South is going to be a crazy division to watch next year. You got the Buccaneers, Tom Brady and Gronk, Drew Brees and Michael Thomas and Kamara, Matt Ryan with Todd Gurley and Julio Jones. And then you got Teddy Bridgewater out there with the Panthers, a new look for Panthers with Matt Rulin. So it's going to be interesting to see how the NFC South plays out. So I'm going to start. We're actually going to start from the bottom up this time. I'm going to start with Owen. Owen, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think the best team in the NFC South is right now?
I guess I'm gonna have to go with the obvious, the Bucs, because there's just way too many weapons on that team. Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronk, O.J. Howard, Brady, of course, and then they just drafted Wirfs for the O-line. I mean, I think they're going to need to really bring it to another level. I could see a trade with the Jaguars with Fournette, maybe for O.J. Howard.
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. But, yeah, I think the Bucs got it.
Yeah, the Bucs are going to be interesting. I mean, I know Jake's going to be next on this, and I know we've talked about it. Me and him talked about it before. But I mean, I'm not a really big believer in the Bucs right now. My best team, I think, is the Saints still. You know, you got Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, that team that made it to the playoffs the season before they made it to the conference championship. You know, I still see them as a very strong team. Probably the best in the NFC South. I think they are. And you know, one of the next questions was going to be, you know, who do you think's a better quarterback? I think Drew Brees is the best quarterback in that division, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, we don't know what Tom Brady can do. He's been with New England for 20 years. Who knows? You know, we don't know what he's going to be able to produce. And I know Jake's got something to say about Tom Brady and how he might be faded out. But, I mean, Drew Brees and those Saints are still the best team in that division to me. Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
There's no doubt in my mind the Saints are the best team in the division. They're probably the best team in the NFC. And the thing that I have against the Bucs, Brady's a 43-year-old quarterback. Yes, he's the best quarterback to ever play football. Everyone knows that. But he's a 43-year-old. He's in a new system for the first time in 20 years. Yes, he has shiny weapons like Evans and Godwin. And people are saying if Winston can throw 30 touchdowns, Brady can throw 50. Brady and Winston are two completely different quarterbacks. Brady likes to check down the ball for 7 to 8 yards and get those chunk plays. Winston liked to air the ball out. He was a gunslinger-type quarterback. The Bucs, despite drafting Tristan Wirfs, which is a very good pick, they still have very low they have a bad offensive line and they have no run game. And if you have a bad O-line, Brady won't have time to throw. And if you don't have a good run game, you're screwed because you won't be able to hand the ball off when you can say perhaps that they're finally figuring out the weapons. They're finally figuring out.
It makes you one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But Jake, also, you got to look at it this way. Second round has a lot of running backs left. So they can get a good, solid running back out of round 2.
Yeah, but an amazing rookie running back is rare. Zeke and Saquon were the two rare cases, but I can't see any of those guys having a big leap their rookie year. And I'm not intimidated by Gronk coming out of retirement at all. He retired because of injury concerns. We all saw the physical deterioration of Gronk. He had a very bad last season, and I'm just not intimidated by that Bucs team. And the Saints are definitely still the best team in that division.
That point with Gronk. Honestly, I'm going to be surprised if he plays more than 8 games this year.
Absolutely. He's not he hasn't played the game of football in over a year. And I doubt he's been training that much. He definitely deserves time off. Arguably the best tight end to ever play this game. He's probably been out partying, doing what he's got to do. I don't think he's definitely not the Gronk from 2010 to 2017.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I'm not too intimidated by the Buccaneers either. It's going to be interesting to see how they play this out. I mean, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, the list just goes on of how much weapons they have. But I mean, it looks good on paper. But I mean, we got to see how they really look on the field. I mean, and who knows if we'll even be able to see that this season. You know, with all this going on, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
In my opinion, the only reason why I don't think they're considered Super Bowl favorites is because what happened to the Browns last year. Because the Browns had all those weapons. They got Odell. They had Nick Chubb. They got Kareem
And an
Hunt,
unproven quarterback.
And they were 5th-ranked odds to win the Super Bowl. And look what happened to them. This was probably the biggest Browns season of all time. So that's why I think people are a little lower on the Bucs. But I don't think they're going to win 8 games, to be completely honest. I don't think they're going to go second in that division.
All right, Patrick. Patrick, go ahead. I'm ready to hear what you have to say and attack this.
You guys are all underestimating the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, I've never seen someone show more disrespect to a GOAT of a sport ever. If this was LeBron James, doesn't matter who's on the team, you guys would be like, oh, he's going to the finals. Tom Brady is that guy in the NFL. But they are going to the NFC Championship game. Maybe not the Super Bowl. They are going to at least NFC Championship game. They have the most, if not the most, the second most talent on the offensive side in the NFL. Like it truly blows my mind, the offensive talent that they have. They have who I think is going to be the number 1 receiver this year, Chris Godwin.
Wait, who is the best?
It's either the Cowboys or the Patriots.
Patriots?
It's either not Patriots, the Cowboys or the Bucs. It's either the Cowboys or the Bucs.
Okay. All right, there. All right.
Okay.
All
So
right,
yes, they
Dak
have the
Prescott,
offensive talent,
$35 million a year.
and they have the rest of the draft to get defensive players as long as they're running back.
Hey,
I think you
Patrick,
guys are all underestimating them, and you guys are all making a terrible mistake by doing that because they're going to the NFC Championship.
Patrick, what did the Cowboys do with that offense? They went 8 in the worst division in
With
the NFL.
with the worst coach in the NFL. With the worst coach in the NFL.
That's Adam Gase. That's Adam Gase.
No. Jason Garrett is the worst head coach in the NFL.
That's not even no.
Yes.
We're not going to do much better with Mike McCarthy, I promise you.
So, yeah, I think they're going to the NFC Championship. I think they're winning the division, but I think the Saints will be a close second to the Buccaneers.
I got to realize, Brady, I called him the greatest quarterback to ever touch a football, but he's 43 years old.
Look at what he did with New England last year. They had no weapons for him.
They had – all right, if he
Look at his defense. Look at his defense. And then when they played a real team, they flopped. But when they played a real team, they were horrible. They lost to the Titans. They lost to the Texans. They got blown out by the Ravens, and they lost to the Chiefs.
With no weapons. With no weapons.
The rest of their wins were against mediocre teams.
Pat, he won a Super Bowl with Edelman, Hogan, and Amendola. He won with those 3.
Exactly. That's my point.
That's the same. That if anything, the weapons that he had were better than in 2016. It's just obvious signs of decline. N'Keal Harry is a very good receiver. He just had a weird rookie year. He was injured half of the year. Edelman is as good as ever, and he had probably the best run game.
So
in the league.
You're comparing the New England offense to the Tampa Bay offense right now. You think that those two offenses are comparable from a talent standpoint?
You can't compare N'Keal Harry to Mike Evans, who's already proven himself.
And you can't compare Edelman to Godwin when Godwin's going to blow Edelman away this year in stats.
Because Godwin's a third-year guy. Edelman's catching up there in age.
Exactly. So how are you comparing?
Because this is a year difference, and Brady's entering a new system for the first time in 20 years. That's why.
Patrick, I see what you're saying, and I completely understand. But from my point of view, I agree with Jake. I mean, I understand he's the GOAT, and we got to give him all the respect. I will. I'll give him all the respect he deserves over in Tampa, him and Gronk. He deserves it. But, I just don't think in my mind, for some reason, I just can't see them. Now, they added an extra game, so I guess it would be 9-8 they would go. I could see them getting a wild card spot. I could see them making it in the playoffs. I don't think it's going to be as amazing as everyone thinks. But I could see them making a wild card spot with Tom Brady, but we have never seen Tom Brady have another system. So this is the year where all the questions get answered, right, guys? System quarterback, right? We don't know. We never know we never knew if he was system quarterback. Well, now we're about to find out.
Because I think system quarterbacks usually deteriorate within like 10 to maybe 15 years. Brady was dominant for 20 years, and he is the greatest. He's arguably the greatest football player to ever play, and he's the greatest quarterback. He's not a system quarterback. If he was 10 years younger, he would have dominated in Tampa. His age concerns me because what Brett Favre did in his age 43 season, the year before he was in the NFC Championship game, and the year after he went, I believe, 2-10.
You're still comparing two totally different quarterbacks. Brett Favre threw bombs his whole career. Tom Brady doesn't throw bombs. Tom Brady throws 10 to 20-yard checkdowns.
It's still
and doesn't miss and make mistakes. Brett Favre has the most interceptions in NFL history, does he not? Am I wrong on that?
He also had the most touchdowns for a very long time too.
I understand that. I'm just saying it's a really big difference between those two types of quarterbacks. They play totally different.
They are two different molds, yes, but still. He was dominant the year before, and he got injured and went 2-10 the next year. Do I think Brady's going to go 2-10 next year? No. He's going to win games, but he's not going to be dominant. He'll be a mid-tier quarterback.
Sullivan, who do you think is the best team in the NFC South, and who is the best quarterback in the NFC South?
Okay, well, NFC South, the Saints. I like the Saints. Have great receivers, Sanders, Thomas. I mean, look, Drew Brees, I feel like he's going to have another decent year. I feel like he's going to beat Brady out of the NFC South maybe. You never know. I mean, I might sound insane, but I feel like Saints are always playoff material. I mean, we don't know what's going to come out of this new Buccaneers team. We don't know. Will they have great chemistry? We don't know. And also, I feel like Breeze is just going to blow everyone else away in the NFC South.
Hey, Patrick, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. I will say that it's going to be really fun to watch Tom Brady in a new uniform with Rob Gronkowski in that offense. I will say that's going to be extremely fun to watch. It's just really unpredictable right now to see. And the Saints are already established. That's exactly why I'm going with the Saints. It's really hard to see Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski in a new uniform. I mean, it's just, we don't know what he can bring to the table on another team. So that's where I came off with that.
All right, Jack. Jack, go ahead. You look like you're cooking up a storm there.
Yeah. Actually, I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC South still. I think Drew Brees is the best quarterback in the NFC South. But I actually don't even think Tom Brady is the second best quarterback in the NFC South. I think that's going to be Teddy Bridgewater.
Whoa, all right, that's pushing something, but
I think so. He's going to have Robbie Anderson. He has the best running back in the NFL. I honestly think the Panthers have a chance to make the playoffs. I really do.
Wait, hold on, Jack. Let me stop you right there. So
yeah,
I know me and you being Jets fans, I guess you have a liking to Robbie Anderson. I don't know why. Do you like Robbie Anderson? You like him in a Panthers uniform? Because I don't. I didn't like him in a New York uniform. To be completely honest with you, I didn't like Robbie Anderson at all. Really.
No disrespect to him. I just didn't like what he brought to the table in New York. He didn't He didn't do a good job in New York.
He's a terrible person.
All he did was straight one flies down the field. That's all he knew how to do. His route running was
he didn't have good. No, his route running isn't that good. But I think because Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a good quarterback for him. Again, him being able to just run whenever he needs to. And again, are we forgetting the Panthers have Christian McCaffrey? I mean,
yes, they have McCaffrey, but you can't go to the playoffs with Robbie Anderson as your number one receiver. They have arguably the best back in the league. They have a very solid quarterback, but I think Teddy Bridgewater succeeded in New Orleans because of the weapons around him. You had Taysom Hill, Mike Thomas, not Emmanuel Sanders. What's his name?
Could we see a 3 playoff team division with the South? You think?
It could be.
Absolutely.
Well,
aren't
there 7 wild card? Aren't there 7?
There's going to be 7 spots. There's going to be 7 spots in the playoffs.
All right, this team is going to have a better chance than competing with the Panthers, and it's the Falcons. I think they're going to have a bounce back here. Matt Ryan is still a very good quarterback. Julio Jones is probably the best receiver.
It's an insane division.
It's going to be a crazy division.
I know I said Todd Gurley might have 2 years left, but he might have one more magical run left in him.
I agree with you, Jake, on that.
And that defense should be back and healthy. Keanu O'Neal is going to be back. Deion Jones is a top 10 linebacker in this league. Dan Quinn has one final year to prove himself. And this was a Super Bowl team a few years back, and they were a tragedy away from defeating the Evil Empire. But I think they're going to be a bounce back. Do I see them making a playoff run? No, but I see them possibly making a chance at a playoff berth.
And here's the reason why I do also like Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's going to work really well with Matt Rule. I like that hire right from the beginning. I think it was time for them to move on with Ron Rivera and with Cam Newton, obviously. Kyle Allen wasn't going to be the answer there. I think, again, them getting a full cast to support Bridgewater is going to be huge for them. And I think, again, I don't think that they're going to be the best. They're not going to be the best team in the NFC South, but I think they're going to be the team of the future for the NFC South. Because again, they're going to have a lot of young talent coming in. I think they're going to be able to draft really well. And again, I really do think Matt Rule is going to be a good coach for Bridgewater.
I like Matt Rule.
If you get them receiver talent, I agree with you 100%. Get them a true number one receiver for a complimentary piece with Robbie Anderson. And, yeah, they can possibly make a run at the Super Bowl. But right now, you can't make it to the playoffs with Robbie Anderson as your number one. It can't happen.
All right, guys, hold on. So we're going to move on to the last segment here on this edition of Universal Sports in the podcast. I'm going to start with Patrick. So everyone mute your mics because we got to hear what he has to say. This is going to be his segment right now. So we're going to let him speak his mind. So Cowboys drafted CeeDee Lamb, who fell to them in the first round. Last year, they were ranked a top 5 offense in the league, had plenty of talent. Jason Garrett was the coach last year, ended 8-8 on the season. Their odds for the Super Bowl this year are probably one of the highest in the league. I don't know why, but they are again. And so, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They fell short. They had plenty of chances. They have CeeDee Lamb. They added on the offense. Patrick, I'm going to start with you. Does this boost the Cowboys to a playoff run?
100% making the playoffs. 100% making the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to Super Bowl. I don't know that yet because we have to see what McCarthy can do as the coach of the Cowboys. It all depends on if he can get the respect of the team. Not only that, it also depends on Dak Prescott. If he's going to keep being a little, what I want to say, and not take $35 million a year, even though that's all he deserves. He doesn't even deserve that, in my opinion. He deserves exactly what Carson Wentz got. But I think they have the most talented offense, if not the second most talented offense in the NFL. 3 receivers who all have the chance to be in the Pro Bowl. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper. If you try and argue that, I don't even want to speak to you. They have the best.
That's way too high. CeeDee Lamb, rookie wide receiver.
CeeDee Lamb's a rookie, and I don't think Gallup's going to go to the Pro Bowl.
Michael Gallup's a career slot receiver who will never have more than 700 yards in the season.
Really? Then why did he have 1,100 yards and only played 14 games this year?
Well, that was a whoopsie on my correction, but he's a career slot guy.
He's 6'5". He can do anything he wants. He can play any receiver position he wants. We're 6'4". Yes, he's huge. Okay, and then we have a top 3 running back in the NFL. 100% top 3 running back who, if he stays out of trouble, will dominate. Our offensive line did lose a very important piece in Frederick. But our offensive line was still pretty good. Not last year, the year before, when we didn't have Frederick because he was really fighting for his life.
Michael Gallup 6'1". So you're like 4 inches off.
I'm way off. I'm way off on that. My fault.
6'5".
All right. So Patrick,
the offense. Yeah.
Patrick, on your points, you think 100% they're making the playoffs next year?
100% making the playoffs.
Just to be accurate on that. Okay.
I think 2 NFC East teams are making it.
I got in an argument about this before, and I'm probably going to get into one right now. I can't see – we're going to have to watch the rest of the draft, so I'm going to give him that. But I can't see – it just doesn't make any sense to me how last year – and I got in an argument on this yesterday – how last year they had Jason Garrett, so much talent, and they went 8-8. Now, I really think it was Jason Garrett. I thought he was the problem. So it's going to be a fight to the finish for them to be able to get a playoff spot. They have a lot of talent. This team probably has one of the best talent in the league. They were top 5 offense last year. So I agree with what you were saying. Now they have CeeDee Lamb on the offense. It's going to be what Dak Prescott can produce, and hopefully, he stops whining and takes that contract, that $35 million contract that he said he can't provide for his family. Hopefully he takes that and they get rolling here. But they have so much talent with Mike McCarthy now. They could make a run. But,
I just want to say one thing, Jake.
Right.
Try and tell me if the Cowboys don't have one of the best, if not the best, linebackers in the NFL.
I was going to say they have one of the best offensive line in the NFL, which is going to completely help their offense even more.
But their defense is really good. And remember, they have DeMarcus Lawrence, who was out last year.
And then we have Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, and Sean Lee. Sean Lee is the commander.
And they're probably going to pick up a D lineman in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have so much talent to work with. it's going to be.
It's just a matter if they can coach it.
I don't understand. I still don't understand why the Eagles have, and Owen, you can piggyback on this. I don't know why the Eagles have a high Super Bowl odds, because I don't see them making the Super Bowl. I don't even see the Cowboys making the Super Bowl, but I can see the Cowboys making the playoffs this season. Not with just CeeDee Lamb, but with the new staff change.
Mm-hmm. Big staff change.
Well, for me, it depends on if the Eagles stay healthy. Last year, they were not healthy at all. I don't even know how the Cowboys did not win that division. That's just upsetting to me.
Yeah.
With
it
all
was
that
very
talent.
upsetting.
I have something to say about that. That, to me, proves that Dak Prescott is not a very good quarterback. It proves to me that
How is he not a good quarterback?
Hold on.
Jake, look up his stats for me real quick.
It proves to me that Carson Wentz is the best quarterback in the NFC East, and it's not
How?
even close.
Like Owen said, your best ability is your availability.
Those weapons, he would have went to the Super Bowl. If he had
he wouldn't have, because he would have been hurt. Because he would have been hurt.
He would have went to the Super Bowl.
All right.
And
listen, Carson Wentz got cheap shotted. That's not his fault.
He's been injured every year of his career. How many playoff wins does Carson Wentz have? How many playoff wins does Carson Wentz have?
How many rings does he have? That's all I want.
He has one that he didn't get by himself at all.
He would have won that Super Bowl.
He led that team to the playoffs.
All right, so real quick, Dak Prescott's stats last year: 65% completion rating, 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, was sacked 23 times, had a quarterback rating of 99.7.
Even Jameis.
How many wins?
Yeah, that's not a top five. That's not a top five quarterback.
Even Jameis Winston threw for 30 touchdowns last year.
Yeah. He threw for 30.
Look at how many times they throw the ball a game. Look at how many times Jameis Winston throws the ball a game.
And here's what I'm saying: it's like prove to me you're an elite quarterback. Carson Wentz threw for 4,000 yards without having a 500-yard receiver. That's literally the first time that's ever happened. I'm a Giants fan. I hate both teams with every fiber in my body, but it's not even close. Carson Wentz is the elite option.
I don't care how you can.
Wentz's best receiver was Greg Ward. I don't even think you guys know who that is.
So someone who has gotten hurt every single time every single season of his career is better than someone who has never gotten hurt, who has playoff experience and wins under his belt. Like, you're trying to tell me that that's a better option. You're out of your mind. You're a GM. You're going to take an injury-prone. You're going to take an injury-prone quarterback over someone who's proven themselves to be a playoff-winning quarterback, an able quarterback who won't get hurt no matter what.
Okay, he won one game against the Seahawks, and then they had Todd.
He won't get hurt. He won't get hurt.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Playoff dynasty quarterback.
Owen is saying this right now, but he literally made his own point against himself. Your best ability is your availability. Carson Wentz is never available when it's needed, so you can't compare the two. In my opinion.
All right, first, can we all agree? If Wentz didn't get hurt in 2017, he would have won the MVP, and he would have walked through that playoffs.
Doesn't matter. He got hurt.
It would have been. It
doesn't matter. You can't say anything.
It would have been a blowout against New England. He would have walked through that playoffs, and if he stayed healthy, they probably would have beat Seattle.
It would have been his first playoff game, Jake. His first playoff game. You don't know what a quarterback's going to do in his first playoff game.
Dak Prescott played in 2 extra playoff games. What's the big difference?
No, I'm saying you don't know what Carson Wentz is going to do in his first playoff game. A lot of quarterbacks lose their first playoff game. It happens to the best of them.
All I'm going to say is Eli Manning's better than both.
Oh my God! Okay, all right.
Owen, Owen, I'm gonna go to you if you haven't made your full point yet. But do you think the Cowboys are destined for the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I think they'll make it as a wild card team for sure. I think the Eagles still win that division.
All right, I'm just finishing the call. I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys later.
Bye. Well, Darius Slay, that's a great pickup by the Eagles. Amari Cooper is going to be automatically locked down.
That's false.
Darius Slay is one of the best corners in the league.
He had one good game against Amari Cooper ever.
Right.
One good game.
Hold on, can I please talk?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I said they'll make it as a wild card team. But my big deal is if they don't make it to the playoffs, I don't think Dak Prescott's going to be around again.
I agree with that. If they don't make the playoffs, he's gone. He's absolutely gone. That's why I think we're taking a quarterback today.
Dak Prescott has had a bunch of weapons, and he hasn't really proven anything.
Owen, hold on. Hold on for a second. Patrick, did you just say you think the Cowboys are going to take a quarterback today?
Yeah, they're taking a quarterback today.
Why? If you just said you like Dak Prescott and you would.
I just told you.
He could do it. Why would you say they would draft a quarterback?
Jake, did you hear what I said in the beginning of my statement? All right, wait a sec. Jake, what I said in the beginning, I said, very big chance if Dak Prescott plays and stops being a you-know-what. Those are my exact words. So we have to draft a quarterback in case he holds out. You don't want to have to deal with –
If you believed in Dak attack, you would say –
I believe in him as he's on the field.
I believe in Sam Darnold. I mean, I wouldn't draft another quarterback. So, I mean,
but he's not holding out. But Sam Darnold's not holding out. Dak Prescott said that he's going to hold out.
Is what I'm saying. If he doesn't hold out and takes the contract, let's just say he does. You think if they don't make the playoffs, they should just take another quarterback? That doesn't make any sense.
But yes, I do, because it does make sense, because I do have all of my faith in him because he has made the playoffs. But he didn't this year. He should have made the playoffs this year. I still have a bunch of faith in him because of his stats. But if he doesn't make the playoffs this year again, then I have a problem with him.
Okay, because that was my problem last year. They didn't make the playoffs with all that talent. Now, I see what Owen was saying before Carson Wentz. I like Carson Wentz a lot. To me, really, not off topic, I thought the Rams should have drafted – if we went back in the draft, the Rams should have took Carson Wentz.
I agree with that, 100%.
I like Jared Goff, but that's off topic.
I agree with that too.
I think the Eagles probably have the best quarterback in that division. But unfortunately, to what Patrick's point is, yes, he's injury prone, and the best available is the guys who don't get hurt. You got to be able to play to be able to show what you got, right? So I agree with what Owen and Patrick both say. However, I think Carson Wentz is the best quarterback. And, Patrick, you confuse me, but I understand what you're saying now if they draft a quarterback. But still, that's a tricky road.
It's a risky take, but you have to do it.
It's a tricky road to walk down if they draft another quarterback. Then what is he going to think? That wouldn't make any sense to me. If they draft another quarterback, is he going to take the contract at all? Well, at that point,
have you been watching sports? Have you been watching SportsCenter at all? By any chance, Jake?
No, not really.
Adam Schefter, Troy Aikman, all of the head analysis think that the Cowboys have to do it because, like you basically just said, it puts pressure on Dak because now the Cowboys would still want him.
It
forces his hand.
If they force his hand and he signs the contract, how could they get rid of him?
He's locked in.
They can't get rid of him if they don't make it to the playoffs. He's locked in.
Like Jack just proved a really good point. I don't even know who the Cowboys' backup is. Oh my God, we drafted him 3 years ago. Cooper Rush.
I'm a Giants fan.
He's a bum. He's an absolute bum. In what is it, preseason? He threw like 6 interceptions. Dude's a bum.
Jake,
Nathan Peterman style.
Guys,
gingers. All gingers are bums. I have to head out too, but all gingers are bums. I'm ending on that. Every ginger's a bum. See you later, Jake.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Jake, what I'm going to say, back to what you said about the 2016 draft, Goff is such a better quarterback than Wentz, and it's not even debatable.
I agree.
Yeah, Goff, because Goff, and he's also a better quarterback than Prescott, just saying, because Goff had all the talent that Dak had, and he proved it and went to a Super Bowl. There might have been a little bit of an asterisk to it, but Goff managed to win multiple playoff games before Dak.
Scott is not a playoff quarterback. He's not.
No
matter how hard he tries.
Offensive line coaches in the NFL, and he does have a really good core around him. I don't think
talking about golf, right?
Coach, but I don't think I don't think he's even near what Sean McVay is, and I don't think Jason Garrett is horrible.
Yeah, it depends of McCarthy of how he's going to coach this Cowboys team. They could go over. They can go they could be a playoff team, and they can go to the NFC Championship easily. And it's hard to think sometimes, but they could be the same like last year, and they can just barely go over 500 or be like 8-8 again or something like that. We don't know what's going to come out of this Cowboys.
Let me check. Do each of you think the Cowboys are making the playoffs next season? I just want to know.
I think they're winning. Yes. I think they're winning the NFC East. CeeDee Lamb is going to.
They probably are. They're probably going to make the playoffs.
I think they're winning.
They're like a wild card team.
I think CeeDee Lamb was a great pickup in the draft for them, especially because now I think you're gonna have one of the best receiving corps in the NFL, and obviously you have Zeke, and their defense is great. And a lot of it just depends with how Mike McCarthy does.
We're forgetting to talk about the best team in the NFC East.
Oh, stop it! The Giants are not the.
Just saying.
I'm a Giants fan. I disagree with that. I'm sorry.
So,
mark my words. You're going to see the Giants play football in January.
So guys, do you got before we wrap this up? Do you guys have any final thoughts on anything we talked about today?
I think regardless of whether I love or hate the picks, this is an amazing draft class, and I think we're going to see a lot of all-stars and all-pros from this class. And no matter what, I think every team's going to get at least one value pick from this class.
Right. Jake.
All right. I do love all these picks. I don't really have a hate for any of these players because I know that they're going to give a lot of help for these teams. And I just feel like it's going to be a very exciting year. Hopefully, if the COVID-19 isn't going to stop this NFL season.
Jack?
Yeah, I think this is one of the best classes we've seen in a long time. And I think the protection that a lot of quarterbacks are going to get out of this draft with offensive line help is going to be tremendous. Again, I think Wirfs was a great pickup. I think
one thing I think I should say and think we all think is we want to give our prayers to everyone who's suffering through coronavirus and people who have lost their lives. And hopefully we can get past as much as possible. Everyone who's watching this or will be watching this, stay home, stay safe, save lives. And hopefully we can get back to watching the sport we love.
Right. Yeah, guys. Jake, you're exactly right. That's really, a good point. Everyone's got to stay home, stay healthy. We got to be able to, move forward and make some progress. But yeah, I agree with what Jack was saying. And I didn't get to talk about this. I didn't talk about my team today, but I would like to mention that I did have my heart set on a wide receiver, but I'm not mad because we got a freight train in Beckett and the man's a beast. So, I mean, the offensive line talent, let alone wide receivers, was incredible in the first round. So hopefully the Jets, please hear me out, Jets Nation. I hope we pick a wide receiver, hopefully in the second round, and then they can do whatever they want, and maybe they'll pick up a pass rusher and a center or two. You know what I mean?
I would like a corner in the third round, but also, I mean, we did
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, and I will say I think right now the Jets, because they did make a few, they got Fant and they're gonna have Fant. I think right now the Jets are gonna have a offensive line. We're gonna be able to make it work. Hopefully Darnold gets some time to breathe in the pocket, because last year he had like the worst offensive line in the league. He had no time to do anything. And also I think the way the Jets are going to be able to succeed now is the fact that Le'Veon Bell is going to finally have room to run. Again, having the second worst offensive line in the NFL last year proved as to, people saying, oh, that was a horrible signing. I think people are going to realize why Le'Veon Bell was so great in Pittsburgh is because again, his run style is patience. He has to wait for that hole to open, and then he takes that hole and bursts out of it. And that's exactly what's going to happen this year with the New York Jets.
Well, they quietly, before we get to Jake, they quietly solidified that offensive line, to me, has a lot of potential with Fant, McGovern. They re-signed Lewis, Greg Van Roten from the Panthers, the guard, Beckett. I mean, they really, really did a nice job from last year to this year. It's a completely new team, new offensive line. So I think they did a great job there. Go ahead, Jake, before we end the show here.
The Jets definitely have potential to win games. They definitely have potential to make a run. You saw the first half of the season, they were arguably the worst team in the league. And then they were one of the better teams. They went 6-2. But it can't get to Adam Gase's head because they did play weak opponents. Adam Gase has to stay humble, stay strong, and work a game plan to make sure that Bell can come back to the Pittsburgh form that Jack said. And that Sam Darnold that you can get weapons that Darnold can dish the ball up to. And they have a great defense with Adams and Mosley leading the way. And it all comes down to if they get good coaching, the Jets can possibly make a playoff run.
Yeah, so I completely agree with that. So, guys, thank you guys again for joining. We'll see you guys here next time on Universal Sports Podcast. We appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Stay healthy, and we'll see you here again next time. Hopefully we'll get another podcast rocking and rolling, and we'll see you here again. Thank you for joining.